So I do see something from Daniel Steger related to this, saying, what should we be thinking about as next steps after the initial meeting? Because he's had some good success with reaching out to colleagues on the Dirty 30 or Fabulous 40, taking a contractor to coffee and the like. But what should we be thinking about as the next steps after the initial meeting? Ways to stay in contact, etc.
Okay. That's a really good point. So it's not just connecting with someone once who could be a referral. What you want to build is a relationship, right? And so the question is, how am I going to build this relationship with people, right? And it's what I get people to do is come up with a 12-month communication plan. So we get them to list 30 people on a list of who could be good influencers, who could be good referrers. And then we get them to come up with a 12-month calendar and work through, and there's a list of different things they can do. I'll give you a small handful now, but these are things to consider. But you've got to come up with your own common sense. How am I going to build relationship with these people? It could be 30, dirty 30 or fabulous 40 or filthy 50. How am I going to build a relationship? So, there's things you can do. There's some obvious things like you can go and meet them, once a quarter. You can call them up. You can have a schedule in your yearly thing for, when you're going to call them. You can organize a group meeting, maybe a referral group where you and say a small handful of you meet for breakfast once a month or once a quarter. You can interview them for a newsletter or for an article. So there's a number of different things, but you've got to do what makes sense to you. And when you do meet them, let's say you meet them for the first time. Let's say you call someone up and say, hey, we're working with similar type of clients. I've noticed. Let's say it's a builder. And you say, hey, I noticed you're doing high-end residential and I do high-end residential. One of the good ways to meet with a builder like that is to say, I'm looking for someone who I can refer people to. And you're doing work in my area, the type of projects I like doing. Are you open to receiving referrals if I had the right type of person? Now, most builders are going to go, yes. Yes, I am. And you go, well, why don't we, let's have a quick meeting for coffee or something like that. I'd like to get to know, a bit more about you so that I know the type of projects you're after and the type of projects you're not after. And then I may be able to refer people to you in the future. I certainly like your work, right? And you may be able to refer people to me, right? Now, most people, if they're not absolutely flat out, are going to bite your hand off to. I did speak at a builders conference once. We run a group for architects where we train architects to win projects and, put in place systems and processes and things like that. Well, I went to one. It was for builders, similar sort of thing to what we did. They coached the builders to put in place systems and processes and improve their business. And one of the questions that came up at the builders conference that I spoke at was, this is from the builders, how do we get referrals from architects? Right. And I said, the funny thing is, when I'm talking to the architects, I get exactly the same question from them. So this is, just imagine a great big dance hall where you've got boys on one side of the room and girls on the other side of the room, and they both want to meet the other side. And it's not very hard. If you reach out, maybe not everybody wants to have a dance with you, but a lot of them will, because they're just as keen to get business as you are. So if you reach out to builders and all these other professionals, they're all constantly looking for work, I can promise you. And particularly as the economy gets a bit tougher, it'll be easier and easier to reach out to these people, talking about, referring each other.